In this video, we're going to take a look at a blue ink by Pilot, their Mixable Blue. Now, as always, there's timestamps down below so you can skip around, but if you've got the time, I'd appreciate you checking out the entire video. Also, down in the description is a link to the blue ink playlist, so if you wanted to see more, you could find that there. I'm an ink guy, and let's get into the first writing sample done on 90 GSM Clairfontaine. No bleeding, no ghosting. We get no feather, spread, halo sheen. We get no shading in the stub or in the medium, but the extra fine, that's definitely lighter than the both of them, has some dark spots that are showing, giving it a little bit of shading. Now the extra fine took 18 seconds to dry and the medium took 24. Scrubby for both give no color variation, although we do get a dark peppering every now and then in the extra fine. The smear test says you could not recover if you smeared while you were writing. To have a range of experience with this ink, all of the writing samples are done with a Jinhao 159 with a 1.1 stub, a Jinhao X450 with a medium, and a Jinhao X750 with an extra fine. Then a Cross Bailey with a medium nib was inked up, used for a day, and used to take the notes for this video. The next writing sample is done on 52 GSM Tomoe River. No bleeding, quite a bit of ghosting, thin paper, no feather, spread, halo sheen, no shade in any of the writing, but the extra fine's lighter than the stub and the medium's darker than the stub. Extra fine took 22 seconds to dry while the medium took 33. Scrubby for both give no color variation and there is none in the writing, and the smear you could not recover if you smeared while you were writing. I agree with Vita. There's a lot to learn by doing multiple chromatographies. The one on the left is done the way it's supposed to be done. A line of ink is put down and then it's put into water for 10 to 15 seconds. And we do see that this is a very dark blue. I don't know that I would actually want to consider this my prime blue, but it is a true blue. It's only blue dyes. It moves up away from the water, gathers, and becomes very dark at the top. The one on the right is let dry for 10 minutes before it's put in the water, and it looks exactly the same, meaning we don't expect any resistance from this ink. The next writing sample is done on 80 GSM Rhodia dot pad. No bleeding, but quite a bit of ghosting, really. I mean, well, we see spots coming through much heavier, and I'm really not sure how well you're going to see them on camera, but there is a lot showing through. It's getting deep into the page, just nowhere near through it. No feather, spread, halo sheen, no shade in any of the writing. The extra fine is only a tad bit lighter than the stub or the medium. Extra fine took 16 seconds to dry and the medium 19. Scrubby for both give us no color variation because there is none in the writing itself, and the smear test says you could not recover it if you smeared while you were writing. Resistance tests are done to see how this ink could be expected to perform on the page, and more importantly, how hard it may be to clean from your pen. The smear is allowed to dry for 3 days before testing it. Looking at the highlighter, it actually handled itself much better than I expected. Based on the chromatography, there's only a little bit of blowout at the top of the lowercase h, but I still would not use it if I had to go back and highlight my notes. Water is reactivating a great deal of it, really getting rid of a lot of it. It did only take water to get this out of my pen. Now, Pen Flush does everything that water does and a lot faster. No 1/3 bleach solution, you are not going to need it, but it completely destroys it. The next writing sample is done on life paper. No bleeding, no ghosting. We get no feather, spread, halo sheen, no shade. The extra fine is a lighter tone than we get in the stub and in the medium that are the same tone. Extra fine took 16 seconds to dry and a medium 23. Scrubby for both give no color variation. There is none in the writing, and the smear test you could not recover if you smeared while you were writing. For the inks tested, the average viscosity was 2.5, with the realm of normal being from 2.1 to 2.9. Pilot's Mixable Blue has a viscosity of 1.46, so it's a wet ink. Now, if you're interested in how the viscosity tests are done, then down in the description is a link to that video. The next writing sample is done on Levenger paper. Now, there's no bleeding, but You know, I've gone to really circling it because I don't know while I'm filming how well it comes through on camera. These are the spots where it is much deeper and I can see it. None of this stops me from using the back of this page. None of it touches the page underneath. The stub has feathering at the end of Mixable. No feathering in the extra fine, no feathering in my bad, back up. There's feathering in the of medium. There's feathering in quick. So we get feathering in the medium. Huh. No spread, no halo, no sheen, no shading. The extra fine is a lighter tone than the stub or the medium. The extra fine took 6 seconds to dry. The medium took 10. Scrubby for both give no color variation, and neither did the writing. And the smear test, you could not recover if you smeared while you were writing. For the inks tested, the average dry time was 17 seconds, and the realm of normal was 13 to 21 seconds. Pilot's Mixable Blue has an average dry time of 22 seconds, so you have to be patient while it takes just a little bit longer than normal to dry. The last writing sample is done on Franklin Christoph paper. While we have no bleeding, we do have some spots where it's coming through much heavier. Now, depending on you, this might stop you from using the back of the page, but none of it corrupts the page underneath. We have no feathering, no spread, no halo, no sheen, no shade. Slight tone variation as the extra fine's a little bit lighter than the medium or stub. Extra fine took 6 seconds to dry while the medium took 8. The scrubby for both give us no color variation and neither did the writing, and the smear test you could not recover if you smeared while you were writing. Instead of finding inks that look like Pilot's Mixable Blue, I'd prefer to find an ink that complements its color on the page. I decided to go with a red ink by Waterman, their Audacious Red. Now, if you'd prefer a different complement color, then down in the description, there's links to those playlists. So what do I think of Pilot's Mixable Blue? This is a dark, bright blue tone that stands out well on its own. If you like dark blues, then go for it. So what nib and pen are going to give the best writing experience with this ink? Well, to lighten it up just a little bit, and on some of those papers where it showed itself to be a little bit more aggressive, I would go with a dry writing medium nib. Lighten it and take control of some of that aggressiveness. I hope you got something out of this video, and in the next video, we're going to take a look at Platinum Pink.